I went to Mongolia in 2018, so I got just a little taste. And now that I'm here, but for an extended period of time, you know, it's like something that you've read about and watched for so long, but now that you feel it, it is both more awe-inspiring and yet more normal.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yes, yes, yes.
Everything you said in the past that I hadn't experienced yet, now I'm like, oh, shit.
Get it
God damn. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Vinny. So you've been here now 20-something days. Tell me about your experiences so far in Inner Mongolia. You know, so since I've been here and really kind of developed here, there hasn't been any foreigners come to wrestle. You're the first one in 4 years. So what are your experiences like so far? What do you feel on your last day in Inner Mongolia after the last 3 weeks of just being tested?
I feel almost a sense of longing, even though it's something I just started interacting with. And this is what we're talking about here is Mongolian wrestling, Mongol bokh, here in Inner Mongolia. It's a crazy feeling, you know, when you have a background like, say, for me, 3 years ago, really began with摔角. For those who don't know, that's Chinese wrestling these days, and a bit of judo. Right, everyone knows judo. There's a certain feel to it. There's a certain rhythm to it. And of course, if you're in a weight class like me, I was competing mostly at 65 kilograms. You know, there's a certain size and strength that you're used to. You come out here and you have people who either just do Mongol bokh or have done Mongol bokh and摔角, Mongol bokh and judo, Mongol bokh and freestyle. And have all that interaction of so many top wrestlers of different types under one format, all different sizes, all different ages, different levels of experience, different personas. It's, as a grappler, it's addicting. And you know, today we missed out on Naadams, and I really wanted to do it. It was going to be my last one before leaving here. And I already, just on this car ride that we've been having, I already have this sense of longing of needing to immerse in this more often. Because if you're a wrestler, having that type of environment around you is amazing.
These last few weeks, you've kind of got to observe and analyze and see for yourself all the things I've been talking about for like the last fucking 4.5 years almost. And I'm curious now, coming from a very similar background like me with Chinese style wrestling, what do you think are some of the similarities and the differences? Because we all know that, you know, Chinese wrestling's origin is Mongol bokh, especially over the Mongol bokh, yes, and which is Inner Mongolian style of Mongolian wrestling. But what do you see as the similarities and the differences, and kind of what do you take away from what you've seen here today? Because we've had personal discussions about Mongolian wrestling, Chinese wrestling, and pretty much that Mongolian wrestling has a lot of things naturally. They're kind of just part of the whole culture of Mongolian culture that are supposed to be, you know, highlighted within Chinese wrestling. We talk about Kuaijiao, we talk about these different aspects of fast techniques, being aggressive, being sensitive, knowing how to adapt, right? But it's like we actually don't see all those elements in Chinese wrestling that much anymore. As a whole, we see pieces of it from different individuals, but here you see everyone can harness and adapt and, you know, and show those attributes and those qualities of wrestling, no matter what they do, whether it's Chinese wrestling or Mongolian wrestling. So first, tell me what you see as the differences and the similarities, and kind of tap onto a little bit of what I'm talking about with this, which is how come we don't see around the world within Chinese wrestling, the same things we see here, right? Because again, they are similar, but they are different. What are those similarities? What are those differences? And how come we don't see certain things in other places that we specifically see here? I just want to know your point and your view on it, because I have my own, which we've talked about many times. But now that you've been here, it's like you felt it. It's different, bro.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This shit is different. It's not. I've been talking to you about it for years, talking to other people about it for years. But now that you felt it, I'm just curious, and I want other people to see, because sometimes they think, man, Lavell's he's just on the Mongol train. He's just hyped up. He's just riding the wave. He's drinking the Kool-Aid. But now that you've touched, you felt it, let me know.
My brother hitting me with the deep questions today. Okay, so the first one, similarities. How are they similar? My experience with Shuaijiao is mostly from the Taiwanese Huaijiao side of things, and that means that it is a derivative of the Baoding Shuaijiao camp, so to speak. And there's many styles, as we know, but the Taiwanese style. That said, in my experience, the moves, the ending moves, basically the throws, the takedowns, the trips, the sweeps, those are similar between Mongol bokh and Shuaijiao. Some of the concepts, as far as circular movement and bringing people through spirals and cutting the circles and so on and so forth, that is also, common between the two. At least what types of unbalancing and movement and footwork is prioritized or emphasized. I would say another similarity would also just be the jacket. Very different once you get into the details of it, but compared to judo, compared to, say, even freestyle Greco-Roman where there isn't a jacket, compared to other popular wrestling styles, these are more similar than not in that sense, right? So the emphasis on particular kinds of grips, movement, and then the types of throws that are used are similar up to a point. But then, to me, honestly, I feel the spirit of things is quite different. We could look at this from different levels, but I think we just have to look at Mongol bokh, Mongol wrestling, something rooted in Mongol culture and the way they view life and wrestling, life in general and wrestling, and also Chinese. It used to be maybe more Manchu, but now mostly Chinese wrestling,
yes,
right? As far as approach and pedagogy and everything. Most of Shuaijiao that's being taught, especially to non-professionals in various clubs and schools, I mean, it's basically following a very traditional Chinese martial arts mentality and model. All right, it's very much your sifu, your coach, your jiaolian prescribes a certain way for you to train, and you just do this. You are being molded into a particular kind of wrestler. And I do believe almost any martial or athletic training has some element of molding you as an individual. But then I see here with the Mongols, the Mongol bokchin, the Mongol wrestler, is an individual. It's not like one camp is going to have... I mean, I was hanging out with Sui Lao's boys, and they are all built kind of similar, but they don't all wrestle the same.
Yes.
Right? It's not like that one teacher who was just like, you're all built this way, you must all wrestle this way. Yeah. You're all small, you all wrestle this way. There isn't that. It seems to be that everyone has things that they all have to get good at.
Yes.
And they all have to know, okay, against these type of opponents, I generally will use these type of tactics or techniques. But every individual is his own wrestler, his own warrior, his own tactician, his own strategist. And someone going against me might say, okay, I'm going to try to get rid of him quickly so that I can save my energy for that guy coming up. This guy's a big guy, maybe I'm going to try to wear him out. Yeah. I notice, especially having the privilege of being to several Naadams, over 10 now, each wrestler really taking the time to study other wrestlers. Everyone is studying everybody, and everyone is both a wrestler but also a strategist.
Yes.
They're not just like horses and cows and sheep. They're all good at different types of movement, right? And I feel like in the West, and sometimes in other parts of Asia as well, combat athletes are being taught to do things a certain way very well. But they're not necessarily being guided through how to be harnessing their full range of human movement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so I think that's, honestly, at the end of the day, one of the biggest differences. You can say, okay, the jacket is going to cause different differences between the leather ᠪᠥᠬᠡ and the摔角 Dalian, right? You can say that because of the rule set, the techniques that they emphasize will be a bit different. You can say because Mongol has no weight limit, so the way you move people is going to constantly adjust, right? And of course, given their lifestyle, being herdsmen, the way you move is going to be different, right? But forget all of that. I think just the way they approach wrestling and the way they approach training wrestling or teaching wrestling is different. Movement-wise, maybe similar. Mindset-wise, different. Now, that's something that really struck me. Everybody here, one person, like we know, in Taiwan and America, Chang Dong-sen is really famous. Iron butterfly, tearing grips, boom, boom, tripping people and throwing them all over the place. There is a Chang Dong-sen amongst all these Mongol wrestlers. There is a Tong Zhongyi. There is a ex-stylist.
Yes.
And nobody is trying to become a mimic of any one person. Everybody is their own wrestler, their own strategist.
Yes.
And I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a powerful thing. And that's what really struck me.
Listening to some of your thoughts is interesting because I've been here for some time now, and what you're saying, I'm curious because it's changed in just weeks. It probably changed within days of you being here, but just a few weeks being here has changed. Now you're leaving tomorrow. You're going to come back. It's going to change even more, right? And I'm just curious to see the evolution of where you're going to go with this, where your mind is going to go with this, and how you'll be able to express it to people. Because, I've been saying things for years, but everyone has different ways to express things. And I want to share these people that come here that love Mongolian wrestling, that love Chinese wrestling, that just love wrestling, and to let you guys, share with people your experiences here, and so we can encourage others to kind of take the journey as well, because it's all a journey. It's like you said, with Mongolian wrestling, it's a little bit different than other styles, right? Yes, modern times there is a bit of a system, right, that they have, but it's an individual journey, and it's up to you to become like this champion, this to be able to analyze, to create strategies. Yes, you have different groups, you have your teacher, but at the end, everyone goes with everyone, and there can only be one champion.
Yes. Right?
And it's not like teams and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very unique, man. I'm just glad that you came out here. Actually, there's quite a lot I wish to ask you. I want to ask you. We could probably talk for 2 hours about this, but these couple of things, man. Like, again, I want you to be able to share these experiences, and you coming from a similar background like me, and then being here, it's almost like I get to see another version of my past, right? And then watch it play out. You know what I mean? Because before it's just me.
Yes.
And when it's just one, I'm the only foreigner. What you guys don't know is in Shillingall, I'm the only foreigner that lives here. So it can be quite hard to understand certain things quickly. I guess another thing I want to kind of get your thoughts on is your first Naadam, right? The first one you did when you came here compared to the last one. What did you physically feel from the way that you wrestled with the Mongols? How did they feel to you? Because as we mentioned before, Mongolians, they're still human.
Yes.
They're not invincible. Yes. But there is a different feel because of the culture, because of the lifestyle.
Yes.
So what did you feel? What did that kind of awaken in you and kind of make you have realizations about?
I remember in my first Naadam here that I grappled with the other guy, and I was unconsciously, I wasn't aware of it at the moment, but afterwards I realized I was stiff as hell. I was trying to fight everything, resist everything, and it was working a little bit at first. But really what the other guy was finding out was, okay, boom, okay, that's dead end. Boom, okay, that's dead end. Boom, okay, that's dead end. Ah, here he is. Boom, and then I'm gone, right? What I thought was providing resistance was actually just giving him information. Oh, he's fully weighted this way. He's fully resisting this way. This is fully tight.
Yes.
So here's the hole,
Yes.
and I'm gone. What I felt the last time I wrestled in the Naadam, actually, the guy got the same grip. Boom, boom, two on one side, right? This and Sachik. Got the same thing. He kept, this time though, because I was turning, moving, and keeping my waist and my legs supple and agile, he wasn't able to just throw me over. He had to do this, I don't know what it's called, the technique where they hop over and over and over and over and spin until you fall over.
That's how it's dragging.
Yeah, he had to do that, and I actually almost caught myself a few times and caught him, and he had to keep making slightly different spirals until I finally went. Obviously, the result is the same, but the process was different.
Yes.
The process wasn't just hit wall, oh, there's the hole, boom, and I'm gone. It was, oh, this guy's adjusting with me, and I'm like, oh, I can actually catch him.
Yes.
If I understand the pattern of movement, I can actually move to cut it off. Mm-hmm. If I understand the nature of that gripping, I can actually counter grip.
Yes.
And then I can stabilize. And then I can get what I want. And then I can attack. So, if anything, one of the most powerful things that I've gotten in just all of these Naadams that I've attended, aside from understanding various wrestlers from different points of view, aside from understanding the game, aside from immersing in the culture, there's immersing in the, how do I say, like, these motherfuckers move dynamically.
Yes.
These guys, they think dynamically. They move naturally.
Yes.
And
even the big ones.
Even the big ones, they move very fluidly in a way that you normally expect at lower weights in grappling sports. So to finally be able to start tapping into that and to be able to move and adjust, and I was doing like a half, almost pistol squat like Chelgutter does when I was being spun around. I was like, oh shit, up, caught myself, almost got him, missed, he's moving, and eventually, 5-10 seconds later, I'm on the ground. But I was like, oh, I had like a little glimpse of that for a moment. And it's a beautiful feeling because it's like one of our conversations when talking about music and dance. Most of the way that we're taught as grapplers is you're taught a set technique. You're taught how to unbalance somebody and use that technique. Mm-hmm. You're taught what grips to try to take for that technique. And then you're just vying to make that happen and create a choreography. My last Naadam, although, yes, I lost, I was able to tap into just freely, dynamically grappling with my opponent.
Yes.
Right? And just being fully aware of where he was, where I am, where his center is, where my center is, where my balance is at, where my weight shift, his weight shift. I might not have enough training and experience to know exactly where to go as soon as he got that grip. Mm-hmm. But I was able to hang in there and feel it all out.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful thing. So I would say that would be the biggest difference. Me in the beginning and me towards the end, starting to loosen up and be a natural wrestler. Starting to.
Mm-hmm. Now that your time here has come to an end, unfortunately, sad for me. I'll be alone in the dark again, crying by myself. No, I'm just kidding. So what are your plans now? Like, what do you see for yourself in the near future, and also like for Mongol Bökh, man? Like I said, you've experienced it now. I don't have to say shit no more. You already know what it is. Yes. So what do you want to do with it now? Where do you want to go?
Everybody's telling me, yourself included, boy, you got to get to 80 kilograms at least.
Yeah.
That's
You have to.
yes, that's the mission. You know, building more muscle. So I gotta gain 10 kilograms. And viewers, you guys got to hold me to it. Like, subscribe, or else I'm not gonna listen to you. And 10 kilograms. That's what I gotta gain. I gotta save up, come back for winter training. But I think right now, when I get back and I engage in, you know, more wrestling, is I'm gonna focus on the walking, the gripping, and then the feel of the other wrestler, but also the feel within myself. You know, I start slipping back in the old habits of, you know, trying to bump, 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 move and twist, and that, I think that has a place. But those places are in specific scenarios, and being out here makes me realize that maybe people who were very experienced handed those down, and that was their game. I need my own journey of experiencing when and where to put that type of energy.
Yes. Well, to the next time, brother.
Yes.
You know, you just fucking get back to training.
Yes.
I told this man he better bring his ass in the winter because he was getting handed a little bit of work.
Yes.
This past 3 weeks.
God.
So I'm gonna need him to come back because let me tell you guys, it's so important to like get in the experience and the training here, and you know that's one reason why we're doing this too. It's for we have our personal goals, but we also want to allow, you know, everyone the opportunity to learn the culture, learn the wrestling. So we're gonna be putting in work, man. And shit, I'm glad you came out, brother. It's been a long ass time. You know, until the next time, we'll fucking get it in.
Yes.
My man.